Am I the a-hole on Reddit? Am I the a-hole for laughing when my son came home from meeting his girlfriend's parents because he chose to behave like he does at home? My son burps a lot while eating. I have tried telling him multiple times that it is rude. I've told him to slow down so he doesn't swallow air with his food. I've told him that it is disgusting. My wife will instantly jump in to defend him. She will say that's just the way he is and that it's not his fault. The thing is, he can control himself when I remind him he just chooses not to. He just went on a date with his girlfriend last night, and she tore him a new a-hole. It was his first time meeting her parents since they live in another city. They went out to a fancy restaurant and he burped all the way through supper. He came home almost in tears from her chewing him out for behaving like a jackass in front of her family. I heard him telling my wife about it and I laughed. She asked what was so funny and I reminded them both that I had tried dozens, if not hundreds of times to teach him table manners, and he rejected them, and she protected him. I said that now he is a grown man and had to learn the hard way. They both think she overreacted and that I'm the a-hole for being amused by his experience. Am I the a-hole for refusing to send wedding photos until payment is made in full? I, 24 female, did a last-minute favor for a friend of mine for his mom's wedding. Little bit of a backstory for you. I love doing photography. I always have and I always will. While I was out with my friends, I was unexpectedly called by my brother-in-law. I don't usually get a call from him, so when I saw he was calling, I answered and asked if everything was okay. He had explained the situation about the previous photographer dropping off a last-minute 6 p.m. the night before the wedding and asked me to help, and I would be paid by a certain date. I agreed and traveled 4 hours with my camera and laptop up to this wedding venue to take photos for the bride and groom. Until today, I found out I'm not being paid till much later in the month, if not next month, so I sat and had the thought about and came to the conclusion that I won't send any photos. I then explained this to my friend, and he was unaware of a date being set for payment and the only amount until I'd showed him that part of the conversation we had between each other. So now I've been called an a-hole for refusing to send any photos over until payment has been made in full by given date, but everyone's already been using my photos quite happily for profile pictures and cover photos from the few I have already sent over. Not to mention I had already been hounded by people for said photos as they needed them ASAP. I feel the whole situation is about to put a divide between me and my friend when I don't want it to, but am I the a-hole for refusing to send any more photos? Am I the a-hole for hiding baby food from my 6-year-old niece? Long story short, I share a house with my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and 6-year-old niece until they finish their new house. Past November, I had my baby boy, now 9 months and a half, and clearly there's a bit of jealousy going on since then. So now I started giving him store-bought snacks and yogurt, and I kept them in a shared pantry. My niece is in that phase. She doesn't eat anything, only drinks, and wants chocolate milk or flavored yogurt. The family in general now, every time babies eat, it says it loud and clear that it is double eating and better than my niece. And now she started eating his snacks and food when there's plenty of food for her, because those are aimed for babies, and my sister-in-law is now replacing her food. Am I the a-hole?